Hi, it's Janice Dru-Bennett, and today is Sunday, February 21st, 2021. And I'll be sharing with you some of the latest current reports, as you may have seen in some of my past videos, with the group on enabling growth with sustainability and philanthropy, as well as the global work from home experience. I'll also be sharing the most recent Inkwai blog post on networking and one of the most recent events that we've participated in. And I'd like to end the recording today with a quick demo of web AR, or augmented reality on the web, with the Next Tech AR e-commerce solutions. Let me start by sharing my screen. The first group, as some of you may know, on enabling growth with sustainability and philanthropy, is currently talking about measuring goals for good. And the last story that the group presented took about 2 weeks to put together some thoughts on how does your company or organization define sustainability, and how important is philanthropy? How do companies and organizations define sustainability, and how important is philanthropy to them? Do they define sustainability internally or based on input from clients or other stakeholders? And how much do they prioritize their philanthropic efforts? With global markets and unequal environmental, employee, and consumer protections, it's more difficult for highly ethical organizations to compete globally unless they agree to minimum standards. Our group also talked about scalability, network effects, and other impacts of a digital world, and the internet continuing to widen the wealth gap, as with AI and automation on an increasing number of job sectors. And private organizations, as well as organizations that are driven by visionaries, have more latitude to manage for the long term and can reinvest in short and medium term to achieve better long-term results. Meanwhile, public companies may be beholden to the stock market and shareholders' quarterly financial expectations that may cause them to make short-term decisions to the detriment of longer-term goals. Although I think most companies and organizations do want to think ahead, and sustainability and philanthropy are core aspects of survival. Financial sustainability and standard of living was one key point. We talked about how financial health has been a key definition for sustainability. How do organizations continue to support their mission and keep staff paid in order to pursue higher goals, as well as thinking about the collective standard of living? As we think about organizations, individuals, and the environment, sustainability of the organization is related to global competition and protection. Sustainability of the individual is related to minimum living wage, universal health care, and education. And as we think about sustainability of the environment, having healthy planet regulations can help us see ahead and survive. As we also think about sustainability and philanthropy, the viewpoint and perspectives may differ depending on whether you are the creator of an initiative or pursuing sustainable environments or part of an institution. So the value may vary depending on whether you're thinking about impact on a village or on the world, or goodwill as it relates to money. And as an institution or a company or a person, philanthropy and sustainability may have different meanings to you. The current global work from home experience with trends, tools, and best practices is now talking about the future of work after COVID. What kind of trends can we expect, and what will be the social impact and skill recognition in the future? And the last report on this group, also over the course of a few weeks, talked about whether working from home is making you miserable during the COVID-19 crisis. So share your insights and challenges and how you manage them. And the overall discussion theme is whether working from home is making you miserable, and being virtually connected worldwide, we're still feeling lonely, and that has been an important issue. Research shows that workplace loneliness hurts job performance. And as we share insights and challenges, we also talk about how to manage them. Working from home has affected the COVID-19 crisis from a mental health perspective, and thinking about isolation, restrictions, and the economic downturn. We're really facing a global mental health crisis. And the greatest challenge in all of this has been a lack of routine that we've been facing with the pandemic. We're feeling disconnected from a company culture perspective and belonging to a group of people with a common purpose. And as social creatures, it is important for us to be connected both through work and from a personal perspective. And the longer the pandemic goes on, the more people are feeling conflicted about continuing to work from home. And decisions will need to be made about the hybrid model of work, and whether a doubling of resources might be needed to accommodate both in-person and remote. First key point that our group talked about was, how are we getting over it? Isolation has started to set in, as well as tiredness from long hours of on-screen time, and previously healthy workplace relationships have started to fail. So how can we seek more balance now? And thinking about the new normal, there are definitely still feelings of loneliness and frustration from working at home, and hybrid workplaces, as well as structured home offices, need to change as it relates to tools and rules. We've talked about the threat to mental well-being and how that's really important to think about health. The research links social isolation and loneliness to poor mental and physical health. And many adults are reporting negative impacts on health and well-being due to stress and other factors. And that's not even thinking about the children and the families and the full reach that we really do need to be addressing during this pandemic period of recovery. Talking about loneliness, the latest blog post was about networking during COVID-19. And Rohana Paul, thank you for putting up this article about networking and how important it is to continue to be social, whether it is through virtual events and smaller networking groups. We do have the network section on the Inkwai website, sharing how to network through the expert panels on Current, as well as some resources for women, particularly during these times of where women are even more impacted by the pandemic. Events on the Hub, connections through Lunch Club and LinkedIn groups with the Nonprofit Executives Directors Group, and other communities for startups. And thinking about philanthropy, the UNA USA Global Engagement Summit event just finished. And this is the site where you can still register to watch on-demand sessions, talking about the change in the world and climate issues, and how can we continue to support the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Technology for good is one issue that we've talked about in the past, and that's where Web AR is a way for us to be able to see products within our own spaces without having to walk into stores right now. This is an example of Web AR vacuum cleaner, where I just clicked on it and you can zoom in and see it right on your computer and add it to cart. Or I also have, I can show you on my phone. I'm gonna do a screen mirroring with the app Let's View. And it'll take a second for my phone screen to pop up. And I will pull it over here. So this is my phone screen. And on the Next Tech AR website, under the AR solutions, AR for e-commerce, I will take the vacuum cleaner that I just showed you on my computer. And this is my phone screen that you're seeing as well, mirrored on my computer. See it for yourself. And I will place it right here in my space. I'm going to move it right here in front of my door. And if I tap on it, it becomes something I can spin around and look at right here and be able to experience Web AR, take a screenshot of it right in my space. So thinking about the applications of augmented reality and how that can create some engagement and get people up out of their seats. These are all changes and solutions that we're seeing to the problem of being at home and thinking about how we can re-stimulate the economy. I hope this was a helpful video for you to watch, and look forward to talking to you on a future video.